own regulations. This is a collective task, and that will need people of every gender, all faiths, people from all parties, every single ethnic group in the country, peasants, workers, bosses, everyone. We are the royal people of Ghana. Our country needs us, and we must step up to the challenge. We cannot change things by simply doing the same things that got us into this spot of bother. Leadership is of critical importance in social relations everywhere in this world. And Ghana is no exception. And Ghana needs leadership regeneration. To take Ghana to the promised land we all desire, we need a new lease of life, new energy, systems thinking, and structural approaches that cause us to change course. We must agree on this: the new dawn, the new direction, and a new dimension. At the level of our party primaries, 5 of my co-contestants are still members or former members of the economic management team. Another has been part of the system in Parliament and is a board chairman of a very vital public utility. Whilst we are all brothers, and hopefully when we soon start talking about presidential primaries in our party, we should be saying brothers and sisters. But unfortunately, there's no lady in the 10 aspirants so far. We must be honest enough to admit that the Akufo-Addo government, despite chalking successes in road and health infrastructure, tourism, and of course education, it has struggled to deliver on a number of fronts. We started out saying that we're breaking dependency on the Western donor agencies. The slogan, Ghana Beyond Aid, rang from the Jubilee House with intensity and vigor. But today, we lie on a stretcher before the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and Ghana has become, in the eyes of many, a case study of how not to do it. It is true that the international climate has been hostile. But how many countries have had inflation skyrocket to 54%? And in fact, food inflation hitting the roof. And our city only just slightly recovering after a wild tailspin last year. These are stark signals of economic distress, and we cannot hide these facts. We've had to endure a painful debt exchange program with our pensioners laying siege at the finance ministry. Our party, the MPP, cannot afford to put forward those who led us to this state. I want to repeat myself. Our party, the MPP, therefore, cannot afford to put forward those who led us to this state and expect Ghanaians to embrace them during the 2024 election. We need a new face, a pair of clean hands, a leader to reconnect with our base and earn the trust of Ghanaians. I humbly submit, I, Kwabena Agyei Agyepong, offer the hope of a fresh start for Ghana. It is a matter of public record that I've always availed myself to this tradition. More importantly, for example, in the run-up to the 1992 election, under the Rawlings dictatorship, when it was life-risking to be associated with the MPP. I'm not a newcomer. I did not join our great tradition midstream after the danger abated. I have served this party right from the get-go and in many capacities. I was there when it mattered most and also when the party was at the peak of its glory. I gathered valuable experience doing so, sitting at the feet of some of the revered leaders of our tradition, the likes of the Venerable B.J. Darocha, Stephen Kreku, Peter Alajete, Albert Dubuahene, T.D. Brodements, R.R. Amponsa, Kwame Donkofojo, Alhaji Bin Sali, Roland Al-Hassan, Gianni Selby, J.H. Mensah, His Excellency Aliyu Mahama, and of course, my boss, President John Ejekum Kufuor, who I dutifully served for over 5 years. I have served this party selflessly and sacrificed for this country. I learned, I grew, and I patiently climbed the ladder. So once again, Engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong in all humility, come to you, Ghanaians, to ask for your support. I wish to serve you as flag bearer and eventually President of the Republic. To lead this country with your collective energies and hopes, mine is a burning desire to serve the party and country with a clear conscience, pure motives, and solid character. I overhope for a new beginning, a clean break from the status quo that has become associated with our tradition in recent times, a leadership that understands people, loves people, and helps people. I promise inclusive leadership, one that unites the country, from Hamile to Pusiga, through Kintampo to Elubo and Aflao, one that restores the dignity of our people and gives every citizen a reasonable opportunity to live out their full potential so that we can secure our common future. I am equipped to provide that sort of leadership, and I'll restore the party as a genuinely united force to enhance our capacity to deliver that elusive third consecutive victory in 2024. Today, I ask for God's support, the Almighty God, to guide me to serve you, Ghana. I ask for your commitment to Ghana. That commitment should lead our delegates to make the right choice for leadership. Nobody thinks more highly than I do of the dedication and valor of our gallant foot soldiers, through whose sweat and toil we have come this far. I urge party delegates to consider this. You retain the power of choice. The future of our country, the future of our party rests in your hands. You have a sacred responsibility to choose the leader of our party, NPP, the next leader of our party, the NPP, with wisdom and forethought. We should not allow materialism to rule our political space. The fight for the soul of this country is in its very crucial stages. Whatever decision you make in the upcoming election, the effect may be felt several years down the line in the remotest hamlet in this country. It is time to vote values, to vote principles, and to vote character. Let us Ghanaians restore authenticity, integrity, and substance back into our political landscape, and not allow ourselves to be bamboozled with excitable slogans on a bandwagon that leads us nowhere. We must dispel that fog of uncertainty. We, the MPP, are the tradition that believes in creating a world of plenty. We must all be determined. We must all be determined to make this country that shining example that all Africans were proud to say is on this our continent. That, the people of Ghana, is my prayer. May God help us all, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let the applause be louder for the man of vision and integrity and the man of the moment. Shall we sing this song? We our body, engineer go we know, engineer is the winner again, oh. Sing it, winner, let me hear you say, hey, winner, engineer is the winner, engineer is go win again, oh, win. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated as we do a question and answer section.
Before that, I think I can see my Reverend Minister for my church, Kwabena, retired COP. I didn't see you when I got in, so I'm very grateful that the Methodist Church is right behind me and you give me the spirit. Thank you very much. The media is allowed to ask a few questions. I'll take a few questions if you are here, from A to Z, whatever you want to ask. So you just identify yourself and then you can ask the question.
There is a microphone down there, so once you signal us, you come to the middle lane here and then you ask your question. Thank you very much. Let's see by hands so we can know the number. It's not when it's getting hot and then you raise your hand. I will not pick you after that. So we have one. Who is the other person? Okay. Thank you. Let's go, my brother.
Engineer. Thank you very much for allowing us to ask you questions. I think I've asked you the question before. There's no doubt that your message, the New Dawn, sounds like exactly what we need as Ghanaians. But do you feel that with the current political climate, the odds are stacked against you? All the polls that have come out does not even put you in the first three in the first place. Does that frustrate you that you have this kind of message and it's not received and it's not projected as much as you think it should?
Well, I believe I've now launched my campaign, and I'm very confident that the good people of our party, the delegates, are listening, and that's why we had this very innovative idea to have this media launch. They are watching on all the major networks around the country, so I'm sure the delegates know what I stand for. What is important is what we stand for as Ghanaians, and that is what I've been able to espouse. So as for the polls, I've been around politics for a long time, from 1992. And so, yes, I take some inkling from it, but it doesn't worry me at all. I'm very confident in this message, and I am sure that the party people know what they need in this country, and they will give their vote to KAA to become the flag bearer and eventually the president of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon. An old friend. You keep on saying that the party has departed from, my name is Nana Puku from Daily Searchlight, sorry. Departed from its original norms, the way of doing things, handling things, to a current state where you find some kind of hopelessness in the party. What different thing are you coming to do in case you get nod, you get president, so that the party will go back to its roots? And secondly, if you look at the front runners of this race, your name doesn't appear anywhere. Does that scare you?
Yeah, I think this is the second time this question is being asked. Don't worry at all about that. Underdogs win all the time. It happens. So don't worry that I'm not seen as a front runner. I've said this before and I want to repeat it. There are two front runners. They are there by default. Baumia is the vice president. He's number 2, so he's aspiring to be number 1. That's normal. Alan Shermartin has been number 2 electorally for the last 3 elections. So he wants to aspire to be number 1. But it's important that for Ghanaians to find out what they stand on major issues in the country. I've laid out my program, and that's why I've always challenged them to have a debate, because Ghanaians deserve to know what we are thinking, what our policy differences are, and also to defend our record in government. So I'm very confident. You can't just say somebody is a forerunner because he's there. No. What do they stand for? And it's the duty of you, the media, to ask them what they stand for. I've shown you the 6 planks of my new dawn. That's what I'm going to do. I've told the Ghanaians what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Let's have Hanan. Let's have Hanan from GH1, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, GH1. Yes, Hanan.
Exactly so. Engineer, my name is Abdul Hanan Adam. I work with EIB Network, GH1 TV, and Star FM. Indeed, I've heard you on several occasions. Myself, I've asked you this question, where you indicate that the party delegates should elect someone based on principles and someone who upholds the values and principles of the party. You are also speaking against monetization, among others. I ask you, is it the case that you cannot provide these material things, or you are someone who wants to change the status quo? And how do you intend to do that? Now, secondly, any other candidate amongst these 10 who are running for this position have indeed indicated what they want to do. Someone is talking about digitization. Someone else is also talking about industrialization. Another person is talking about agriculture, among others. What do you stand for? What is the lane that you are towing to achieve some of these goals and policies that you've highlighted today? Thank you very much.
I think I outlined about 6 major plans right now in my speech. Most importantly, to send a strong message to the Ghanaian people that when we ask them to undergo austerity, there should be leadership by example. And that, as a country, we have to work towards balancing our budget. We cannot operate on deficit financing for the rest of our lives. It's not sustainable. And to be able to do so, we need to send the right signals. Our governments have been too large, and I'm not saying this because I want to be elected as president. It's something I've believed in. I'm sure you watched the video of me in 2015 espousing the same feeling. So that's the first thing, to send a strong signal. It's not about the quantum of money you save by downsizing the government, but the moral message you send to the Ghanaian people that you are serious about what you're doing. Cut down the government pecs. In Ghana right now, it appears people enjoy government pecs more than the work that they are supposed to do. It's important as leaders to lead by example, and that's what I've said. We'll cut down the government. I'll work with a 54 ministerial team, and that's a stark departure for what we have been used in the Fourth Republic. That's a major departure from what you are seeing. So it's a policy plan. Number 2, when I say cut wastage, it's very important because a lot of our debt is buried in graft. Value for money in this country. Projects have been over-invoiced in times past. I would ensure that Ghanaians get value for money. So I'm going to be very significantly different. And this has been outlined in my 6-point plan. So I'm surprised that you didn't get the difference between me and the others. And it's not about rhetoric or sloganeering. It's about real cuts that would ensure that you can free the resources that we require to support youth regeneration, to support entrepreneurship, and the things that we need to rebuild our economy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Otu from Business and Financial Times. So you made mention of urban regeneration and renewal. I want to ask how you seek to achieve that, and why is it limited to the urban sectors? Thank you.
It's a figure of speech. When I talk about urban renewal and regeneration, I've been worried about the balkanization of our assemblies. As a country, we started with 110, and now we are, what, 260 or 261? Nobody seems to know even the amount of districts. As someone who is a practitioner in the built environment, and my colleague engineers are here, they can testify to the fact. Accra right now has at least 18 or is it 19 municipal assemblies, and it makes it difficult for the engineering functions to be managed. And most of the services that assemblies have to deliver are mostly engineering functions. Water supply, electrical supply, roads, waste management, and all that. So when you have some very DCs who are guarding their turf and projects have to traverse different districts, it becomes difficult to manage. And that's why I think we have to take a look at our local government system and roll back some of these things. It's important that we regenerate the inner city to make it more livable. Right now, if you look at the forest cover in 1900, and I've studied the maps, and you look at the forest cover now as at 2020, if you look at the digital maps of Accra, we've lost about 60% of our green cover. And that's how come there's a lot of flooding. When it rains in Aburi, it used to take what the engineers call time of concentration. It used to take 8 hours to get to the Odo. Now it takes 3 hours because all surfaces have been paved. They are impermeable now. So there's more runoff, it's creating more floods. And so we need a holistic approach, a basin-wide approach. And that can be done when you have technical people. We need to task our technical people. We need to get them to work. They have the capacity to deliver the answers to us. So I really mean it when I talk about urban regeneration. Why are people traveling from Dodowa to come and work in the ministries when there are so many empty spaces in Adabraka? You know, we've got to go vertical, challenge our architects to design new buildings, new communities, where we can have recreational areas. Now there are no areas for people to even sit and walk about. It's all been sold for real estate. That is not how communities survive. The ecosystem has to be restored. And that's why I believe my background as an engineer of significant experience will be brought to the fore when you elect me as president of the country.
Okay. Just before we go for the next ones. Yeah! Yeah! Oh, yeah, engineer Beba. Thank you. Just before we go for the next question, let me know how many more we have there so that we can wrap up and go to the next segment where we launch the website. So you are 2. 1, 2. Hanan, I think you've come already. Okay. How many here? 2. And then how many here? 1. Good. Right after that, we can go and do the website launch. Thank you so much. Please proceed, my brother.
Okay, engineer. Please, I'm Kofi Asare from TVSYZ and Power FM. You made mention of our sports and being a fan of the sports fraternity. You made mention of our boxing and football. I want to know what, if you are being elected as a president of our nation, what you are going to do to help that ministry.
Well, I think we should have a deliberate policy of creating or recreating the passion that we have for sports. I mean, sports, football is a spectator sport. You can't have the sport successfully when there's nobody in the stadium. Of course, there's competition now because of satellite television, and everybody has access to the Premier League outside and all that. But it doesn't stop governments from being very deliberate about it, to support our team. And I'll give you one example. Ghana has been to previous World Cups, I think 4 or so over the last 5 times. The money that we made, it never filtered down to where it matters most, Coles football, which should be a production line of talent. And that is what we have been used to. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why members of executive committees or members of Black Stars management committees can apportion to themselves $100,000 each just for being members of that committee. And when clubs don't have money to pay their players, Premier Division clubs. So we need to have a sit down with the stakeholders. It's very important. And in times past, we had a system that used to work. Strong collaboration between the football teams and their local communities, and also the government. The government represents the community. You cannot take government away from football administration. I was totally against that attempt. And I forewarned them in 2006 when it was being done. But they didn't listen. And now look at where we have landed. I think we should have a stakeholder discussion, go back to the basics, the things that used to work for us, the collaboration between GALCA, which is the clubs associations, and the government, who provide the resources that we need to build the facilities and support our footballers. It is not right that your taxpayers' money will be used to support the Black Stars to go to the World Cup, but then when they make money out of the World Cup, it is not accounted to us, the Ghanaians. And then the whole ladder, the hierarchy of football never gets to a share in what we get out of these World Cups. So I think I am a football person, I'm a sports person generally. I do believe, and I said it, that we cannot be the jack of all. You know, we have talent in soccer, there's no doubt. We've been great in boxing with the likes of Azuma Nelson, and then athletics, Alisanu and the rest. So we have competitive advantage there. If we concentrate on the schools, and that is why I'm going to reconfigure the Ministry of Sports to go back to its natural home education. So if you look at my 19 ministries, and I'm sure the media has the press pack, it is there clearly for you. You see that youth and sports is back with education. So I'm going to do that. There has to be serious change. Because right now, who is in charge of football administration? There are some people calling themselves football people. Who are they accountable to? Meanwhile, it is our money that is used to support that. And I think that we have to go back to basics. What used to work for us has to be restated, going back to basics. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you very much. Sir, please, I think you came already. Hanan will not come because we have to go to the next section. So let me give the gentleman here. Hanan, you came already. You should have asked all your questions. Thank you.
No.
Hello, my brother there. Please, let's have your question. Thank you, Hanan. My good Hanan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. From me, Samuel Adoba, TV Africa. My question on AMU, Bakobe Agric and Education. For instance, me go school with Krasi. Na ye co school no ewe Krasi no. Abra ye real GSS, oko SS no. What the tuto ya ma mo eco krum school ni ya ewe Krasi na gab no so pa. There's a lot of remote areas out lights in the hall. And granted to me nanti be 2-3 hours before I send me to school. Mr. Agyepong, Pacha, open your president. New policies burn now with the air bar, a bit me abwa massa and crowd village. Now, baby, her light, you know, a bit me nanti, at the core, bear 3 hours and send with me education. At the end, I've been for one hour by a bit me see Sanya man and no coin. Secondly, after another question, a war, a Greek. Your co school, no, say we are born here, near Kuchado, near the amount. As a form of punishment. Inti ye who say adore evil. Inti obia kwa also didn't who be share creatumum. I think that there's a lot of thing a war in a great sector. Ghana education needs to change. A war curriculum nim. Inti policies ban out there bar a bema sa and near my ye school no say we should book be a chikrana. Ya draw akwakora na ne sisi bi achia. Akoye sa ne mani nyina wo book ma ye hu no ama attract ye se ye besua ana ye de hu be hye adwuma e krase. O ba no e de na wo de ba in terms of agric sa ne mani nyina be man kora no mo ewo school mu no o nyini no obetime hu se agric ana se adwuma e ya ade a wo ye a e betime aboa. Bedase.
Who said me for China? You are no, because what the China busame. Because near Ghana for national country as a home. There are other tribes who also have to be respected. And it's all mammy de frefra. Now, Oka Agric Asema, now I'm a maniaji, my home schoolmates be wa. Yeah, your conference him. And so, me agric science to from 5. To me, very passionate about agriculture. Tinansen, so here, yeah, Ghana Poultry Day, July 1st. Now, Nasan Kasoka say, a cassie and no and me the best chef. San Kasoka. So, anti agric idea Damakumas, me carry a teacher be near friend Mr. Boama, or chair agric science. Anti Yusano, Winim City, Ukon Kuko boom, the way feeding Kuko, the way dear bro. Na a part of us. It may be true, there are cancers sometimes. Punishment is the entire create a certain mindset. But here, agricultural science was true. That's how they feel. And it is the kind of leadership we give agriculture, and then also make KBB. Say, we are the tradition that believes in creating a world of plenty. We are supposed to be the pro-business tradition. Build Ghanaians to make money. And agricare area, so if we can showcase Ghanaians, our into commercial farming, our many sika, and no be encouraging Nkwalano no sadi. And there are many areas a bit mediabwa. Exim Bank wo. Sai sika no ya da. And so we are allowing people in agriculture to go and compete for credit at the commercial rates. And the interest rate over 40%. Untimi fanko agriculture many. A quine as mefason said to ensure. So one more startups in there. You need Exim Bank, Agri Development Bank. At the engineer said, yes, agricultural development. And so we share our portfolio. Just a new 5% kind of point to agriculture. I didn't try. President Agyepong will insist that they concentrate on their core mandate and deliver. And it is the support and the leadership that you lend to that area. And yet new policy per se. Ghana, we've practiced almost every economic model. So it's a lack of implementation, it's a lack of enforcement of our own regulations. And when I talk about a new dawn, there will be zero tolerance for these things to ensure that there is the political will to drive the process so that independent and walk away. There's too much impudence in this country. And it's been seen, and nobody gets punished. And no, to free up the resources that are needed to support startups and to push the youth into agriculture in a major way. The government has set up the tree crop authority. There are a lot of tree crops. Share not nomini cashew nomini idea say ye mangrofokum now you support them with credit. The value line, the value chain is very strong and it is in need outside. How we build the market linkages inside them. Hey, idea I'm determined to do it. They want to assure you, maybe you'll be a great science up to O levels. And many have break. Tina, you're calling where do you and me first too. Education as I'm now Canada. I think yes, we have to give credit where it is due. This government has done significantly well, expanding access to education. But me, my worry about education right now, and say we foundation in ya. The other basis is only wow. And I'm saying who a teacher for exams by so even the quality of our teaching, the emphasis on basic education. First, we have a conference room. Bones will be free. Esiakwa, Ele nebai, it be free. Accra, Rechurch, so nebai. Yen na besia. So those days, LA schools, it me building Kolana mom to me call all the top Ivy schools in Ghana. And to me, I'm very passionate about that. It is not about that who could creatively be free mass there, but there be right now all the reports that are gathering dust on our shelves in this country is about a lack of implementation and enforcement of what is right for this country. And that is the kind of leadership I want to provide. And I feel that the Almighty God has blessed me with a skill set to be able to deliver that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer. Come on, celebrate him with another round of applause. Did you notice that when they asked about the farmer's question, one of the flag bearers some time ago said that if you want to be poor, become a farmer. But when you ask engineer, you got the answer. Send a odo equiafo. Maybe I mumbon say money biom. Mumbon say money biom. Mumbon say. Engineer yedase. Come on, celebrate engineer one more time. At this point, we want to acknowledge one more time our media partners, Citi TV, Citi FM, and all other affiliations. Joy News, that is the multimedia group. We are talking about Joy News, Adum TV, Asempar FM, Love FM, and Inshira FM in Kumasi. I want to say a big thank you to Kesvin TV and Radio in Kumasi and Accra. Then the Despite group of companies, we're talking about UTV, Peace FM, and all its affiliates. And the EIB network, we're talking about GH1 TV. And the Media General, we're talking about TV3. And the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, I want to say a big thank you to GTV, Wontumi TV and Radio, Assassin Radio, Daily Guide, under the newspaper category, Daily Guide newspaper, the Ghanaian Times, and the Ghanaian Chronicle. At this point, we would like to launch our website, because as we are going digital, we would like to like our website so that you can follow us and do a lot of things. So please get your phones now. Go with me. Let's go. And if my technical guys are ready, let's do this together. Go to www.kaa for2024.com. KAA for the 4 is FOR. Then you add 2024.com. And once we enter that, you see a very beautiful picture of a man with vision and integrity, a man that leads the new dawn, a man that has great service, who has served the MPP party and leaders without seeking anything in return, in a manner that is devoid of eye service and men pleasing, but a true soldier of the party. Okay, so my technical guys help me display that. Then when we continue, the second one, we'll see the sacrifice, the selfless nature, his experience of 26 years, over 26 years, over 10 awards. He is 100% selfless and 100% full of excellence. Great. So that's it. Very nice. Then when we go down, we're going to see the subscribe. Now, on that subscribe button, when you click it, it means you can follow the page and then get any updates from the noble gentleman, Engineer Kwabena Agyei Agyepong. So let's go. Let's go down. Great. So we see the sacrifice, 10 years plus experience, over 10 plus awards, 9.
All right, welcome back from the Silicon Production House, where a flag bearer hopeful of the new patriotic party, his campaign of the party election. Having been successfully and gone through vetting to lead the party. Here at number 5 Owula Hansen Lane, Tesano, my name is Nanatufo Boateng. Many thanks to you for watching. Keep watching Citi TV.
Get ready to witness a remarkable fair to showcase the rich diversity, talent, innovation, and mastery